Welcome to Five Questions with. Today, my guest is Karyn Martin of Golden Thread Agency. Karyn, it's great to have you here.
It's so great to be here, David. Thanks so much for inviting me.
My pleasure. So tell me a little bit, or tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your agency.
Sure. So I am a new female entrepreneur. I just started my first agency on my own January 1st this year, 2020. I think anytime you start your own company, it's challenging. To do it in the middle of a pandemic is just, it's unbelievable. But lots to learn, and I am learning a lot. And I think really that the business model I've set up for Golden Thread, which is completely built on the idea that we are all connected. And if you can tap into that insight or insights that really get to the heart of who people are and what they believe in, then you can start to tap into their feelings. Once you have people feeling, you can move them to think, to buy, to believe, whatever it is from a marketing standpoint. And that's the whole idea around Golden Thread. So we're a collaborative. It's myself as the chief strategist. I work with other agencies, other contractors, independent folks like myself that have spent a decade or two building other agencies. We've done it for somebody else. We've seen what works, what doesn't, and now we want to be on our own terms. So in a nutshell, that's what Golden Thread is about.
Well, congratulations on the
Thank you.
Business. You were one of the PR gurus in the greater Boston area. There's an awful lot of noise going on in the world at the moment, right? With COVID-19, with Black Lives Matter,
Sure.
With the election coming up. For businesses, how do they get publicity? How can they cut through the noise and get their message out to an audience which is getting all these other messages and all this other noises going on?
Yeah, so interesting. So a couple of things. The cut through the noise phrase is definitely pertinent exactly at this moment because the head of HR for Adidas just stepped down this morning because she labeled everything that is happening with, I'm open to better terms, but what I'm calling the revolution right now, she labeled it as noise. And that, as we've all seen, there is, especially from a PR standpoint and optics standpoint, a lot of people digging into what people have previously said, previously posted, previously believed, and they're reaping the consequences for those things now, regardless of where you stand and what you believe in or agree or disagree, it's happening. And so I think we have to be careful when we say things like even cut through the noise, even though I think we all understand what that means. And you're right, there's a lot going on right now. So how do you get publicity as a publicist? I'm going to tell you, you don't. Wake up. We can't do things how we were doing them before. And I understand the sentiment of you need exposure. You're a brand who needs exposure, but don't lead with your needs first is my advice. What you need to do is stop thinking about how to get publicity and start thinking about how you can help and where you can help. And I mean that in a way that is genuine and authentic. And not just bandwagon. So it's going to be different for every brand. And I think that humility is a huge part of it too. I myself feel that way. I recognize my white privilege in every way that I can. I think that I've got a lot of learning and growing to do. I think that businesses that take that standpoint as well and are open to being transparent and having conversations are going to fare well, right? And it's not just enough to have a great product anymore. You have to have your convictions and stand up for what you believe in as a company. And now more than ever, it's important for your employees to be aligned with your mission, your belief, and your North Star. The companies that don't have it figured out are going to falter, because guess what? Like, even some of the companies that do have it figured out are going to falter. And we're seeing that happen right now. So, yeah, stop thinking about yourself and what you can get out of this. And, you know, like I say, you can see on my site and everything, what I say is caring, connection, and then you cash in. Like, do the right thing and karma will come.
Mm-hmm. And so is that the biggest mistake that you're seeing companies make right now, is that they're still living in the pre-COVID world, right? And they're still trying to do publicity the old way, what we did 5 months ago, and
right.
and they haven't adjusted.
Yeah, I mean, I think, David, you're a digital guy. You see what's happening on that front all the time, and how the old marketing messages just aren't producing anymore. And there's a need to change the conversation. I mean, the conversation has changed, so you got to keep up, right? So in terms of what am I seeing for companies that I think are maybe mistakes, could be approached better, smarter. I think you got a whole group of brands that are just scared. They're a little paralyzed. They're afraid to make the wrong move, because you can easily look up in under 2 seconds a whole list of companies that have done the wrong thing and gotten burned for it. Their people have gotten burned for it, and nobody wants to be the next company on that list. So you got a lot that are laying a little bit low, that are more conservative. I certainly can understand wanting to see how things play out a little bit, but I think from a consumer demand standpoint, and building up a consumer confidence standpoint, which we need for this economy so much, it's really time for those companies to get out of the shadows. And it's okay. Again, you know, when I think of being humble and saying like, hey guys, we're here. This is what we believe. We're interested in learning and helping and doing better and being better. We need help figuring this out. You can't put the onus on somebody else. You know, it's nobody else's responsibility. When you're C-level, you have to take that on your shoulders. But you certainly can stand up and show that you're trying, you know. And then I think you have a whole other list of companies that are making efforts, but just aren't doing enough. In the past, we've seen that it's okay to just throw money at a problem. I would not recommend doing that this time around. You are going to get called to the mat for it. And if you don't get called to the mat, then consider yourself lucky. But throwing money at a problem is only part of an answer. Like, if you can do it, if you can invest and help in some of these other groups that need support right now, then by all means, but it's not enough. We need to show action too.